So everybody go ahead, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CJ. Welcome back, all my kings and queens in the building. Alright, so I got a special video for you guys because I feel like, with the game evolving some more and some things have changed. So I've decided, let's go ahead and get some more deep dives out there for characters. And the first one I want to do is for Spider-Man. If no, some of you have noticed and paid attention, I have been working on my own Spider-Man. So today I've had a special guest come on the channel. Um, Very, very nice Spider-Man character. And as we were speaking, he realized that there was a lot of changes to Spider-Man from when he first talked to someone about it. So I feel like the insight for this is going to be very helpful. And like I said, I've been working on my Spider-Man as well, so I can learn some tips from him as well. So hopefully we all come out of this knowing the information that we need. And peace out. I see you on the other side.
And Xander to be the one to go with. You can also go as Sakar if like your rolls end up really bad, but I would prefer Xander of the two, just because of the if you look here, the set bonus spider combat class skill level 6. The reason that's so valuable on that setup is because if we go over to our specs here, what makes Spider-Man so incredibly annoying and so hard to deal with is this ability right here, Scorpion's Pursuit. And maxed out, you can see it's 36% every time I use a spider combat class skill. So, obviously I want to try to incorporate as many of those into the build as possible. So every time you use that, it's if you look at the dodge gauge down here, you say like I'll pop a dodge right here, and then I'll pop another. If I use one of those skills, it goes up about a bar and almost a half per time I use that. So that's what gives kind of the immortal aspect to Spider-Man in that sense.
Okay, so are you saying is that I want to ask this question. Is that kind of a must-have specialty you want to probably throw out there, or is that kind of a preference if you do spider combat?
If PvP is what you're aspiring to, yeah, you need that, or we are. I know people hate Spider-Man a lot, and you see a lot of them at the top. But without that ability, I can tell you firsthand, he is way weaker. You'll notice Spider-Man start to die extremely fast if they don't have that ability. So yeah, it's pretty much mandatory, I would say, for PvP. For PvE, you kind of start going into any kind of damage you can get, like the spider combat here with 20%.
Okay.
This one with 28.5%. The dodge conversion over here, that sort of stuff. But yeah, if PvP is what you're aspiring to, you pretty much have to have
Okay.
Scorpion.
Okay. Now, as my journey as a Spider-Man, because as I told you, he's gonna be my second one, and I did get the Xandorth build because I was just fortunate enough to pull those on my storm. A lot of people have told me about maybe try to go for the convert dodge into damage. Would you recommend that for PvP, or should you probably keep your dodge past the threshold?
Well, yeah, so that's part of the combo here. So if you look at what I've got on the right here, that is the conversion right there that I run on top of the transcended to increase dodge rate by 15%. It doesn't really tell you exactly what it's doing, but we did a lot of testing with this early on in soft launch, and we definitely found it's a sizable amount of damage that it
Oh,
actually
it
gives
is.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels almost like it's like overall damage added on to the end of it, almost like that's how much of a bump it feels like. So it's definitely something you want to incorporate in both of your PvE and PvP builds.
Okay, I feel it. I'm gonna let you guys know, like, this guy is absolutely no slouch. I have seen screenshots, especially in my Alliance chat. I've seen screenshots of this guy going in a Mega War getting 80 to 100 kills. So, like, with what he's saying right now, this obviously works to some level. So he's not. He knows a thing or two about Spider-Man. I did see you try to play around with that cocoon attack. Did you find that useful at all? Because I have had some people ask me about the cocoon as well. I think it's increased
Uh,
damage to foes that's cocoon. I think that's what that one is.
yeah, this one here. So I think it has merit, but I think it's more of a if you wanted to go like a guard damage build, which honestly I didn't really respect it as a build before, but with this particular companion right here, this girl,
Okay.
uh, she severely bumps up your guard damage and also pops in with a decent guard break herself while following you around and punching them, doing more guard damage. And then on top of that, also gives you a passive of let's see here. When you level her up, I think she get or not level her up. Sorry, what am I doing? Upgrade. There we go. She gives you a, guard damage bonus on top of that. So and then
Wow.
yeah, it's one of those things that if you do ever get her to 6 star, which I know for free to play, that's definitely a lofty height at the moment because
Yeah.
companions are anything but free to play friendly. Um, that doubles up to about 7%. So I'm just saying her active skill though it is the component of what I'm talking about that would be the big boost to it. Just at level 1, you get 18% more guard damage.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So
yeah.
with this new, because I know before you did the video with Tony, we didn't even have companions. So that means there's some potential out there for synergistic things to happen. Do you recommend any kind of companions you would like to see Spider-Man ran with, in far as like dimension duels? I know you already said the lady was a helpful for him, but what about Gilgamesh in the way that he has that free guard break? Do you think that would be a good synergistic team with Spider-Man?
So the way it plays out right now, and they've been talking about it as if it's not going to stay at 1 stamina, and I really hope it doesn't because this guy in particular is just obscenely busted for 1 stamina. I mean,
My
you look at the
goodness.
percentage. Yeah, that's only at level 3.
Ugh.
Um, yeah, for 1 stamina, you drop basically a nuke on their head. Um,
Oh
it's
man.
yeah, and it's something that in Dimensional Duel, the reason I prefer him and in Omega War 2, because both of them it forces you to use at least one dodge gauge on him. Like that's how heavy his damage output is.
Okay.
And on top of that, in Omega War, you can't run from it. So once it locks onto you, it's going to shoot you the whole way. Like you can run the entirety of the map, and it's still going to shoot you. Um,
Wow. So they're that busted right now. Okay, I did not know that. Whew. And
yeah.
that's just Icarus, right? I know Athena's boosts his attack. Do you still use Icarus in PvE, or do you probably switch Athena for more attack in PvE?
So if I'm going for straight up burst, I still do prefer Icarus, yeah. But if
Okay.
we're going for like if I'm like saying like helping somebody in invasion get a top score, then I'll switch to Athena and pop first.
Oh,
Just to
speaking of invasion, I do see you have the invasion badges on there. Does those help Spidey? Because I know my Storm they help her tremendously. But I've heard for some other people on my server, especially Star Lord players, they said they equipped that badge, the invasion
Mhm.
badge, and they said they don't really feel that much of a difference. Do you feel like you probably feel a difference when you equip that badge on the Spider Man?
So for PvE, what's really important is getting the full 6 set
Yeah.
for the as far as the damage increase because these 2 and 4 and 6 that you see, they actually all seem to stack. Like your damage skyrockets
Mm.
when you have a full 6 set of these on. And what's also a little nuance that I don't think anybody realizes if you tap on this, it brings you to this here, and you don't actually get the full bonus until you have 31 to 36 stars.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So if you look at that, it's a red is counted as 6 stars. So you have to add that up, and then you finally get these final 2 and 4 and 6 set bonuses. Which, if you look at the numbers, they're just absurd. Um, so that's where that damage spike really occurs. If you're trying to mix and match low level stuff, or if you're not using a full 6 set, yeah, you probably won't notice much of an increase because you're probably sacrificing other stats to get that.
I
Um,
kind of I kind of didn't know that. I kind of thought like you could mix and match and it was going to be the same percentage regardless. Oh, okay.
no,
I guess
it's
that's much
it's
better.
unfortunately not very friendly with that, especially with what seems to be the current drop rate for invasion of the badges seeming to be really bad.
Okay.
So
So I know you're 110, but the 105 badges do help with dodge. So How is it that you're still able to max dodge without having, that full Dormammu set? Because I'm very curious about that one.
So for that one, it's just a lot of dodge cores. If you look at my badges here, you see a lot of blue. Um, every single one of these is a 5% dodge rate. And then on top of that, I think both of these have a yeah. So this is the other thing too. This three here has a 3x dodge rate. Yeah,
Okay.
and that alone I think equated to like 7% dodge. Um, so and
Oh,
then on top of that, the core it's 12% dodge that I'm getting just from one badge
wow.
essentially.
Okay, I did not know that's what that accounted for. I haven't really seen the numbers myself and all that. Some more core recommendations. What do you? Because I know on Storm, I know that it's green and red, but most of the time you probably want to go green to max out, her defensive pierce and her critical damage because she doesn't have no way to go ahead and boost those. So when you play a Spider Man, do you just usually try to go for blues, or do you try to go for blues and greens? Like what kind of cores do you think other Spider-Man should probably try to focus on?
So I would say if you're aspiring to PvP, I would say it's not a bad idea for anybody to get a fair amount of blues to ramp the dodge up. Um, I know a lot of people are sporting a fair amount of accuracy, but even having a 25% chance to completely ignore damage is always better than taking 10k damage.
Yeah.
So in those respects, I would pretty much recommend anybody try to get a healthy amount of blues to boost that dodge up to what they can in combination with their gloves. Um, but for Spider-Man in particular, yeah, you might have to favor a few more because of the fact that we do have that extra 15%. But we do get a decent amount from potential too. So
Yeah.
that kind of, I would say it's, but yeah, no, I would say for PvP, you pretty much want only defense pierce in the greens until you reach close to the cap or at cap.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, for reds, you want to prioritize critical rate. There is one build that I've seen hopping around with this guy on our server. His name's Rico J, but it's obviously Joker spelled backwards. Um, where he is completely attack percentage and completely defense pierce, and that works really well for him too. But I would say for just a standard build, you want to prioritize crit rate in the reds and defense pierce in the greens, and obviously dodge rate in the blues, and avoid
Okay.
as much yellow as you can because they are just pretty much worthless.
Yeah. Absolutely garbage. Yeah. All right. So another question I do have for you, because we see you running Spider Combat, and at first when the game first came out, everyone was telling people that maybe you want to use the Sakara build on Spider Man.
Mm-hmm.
So my question, I know people are gonna have this questions. What different skills do you use for PvP and PvE, or do you use like basically the same set no matter where you go?
I've been playing around with the PvE ones. For the most part, for a single target, I end up kind of settling on the ones that I'm using for PvP right now. Um, like if I go over to this here. So the reason a lot of people suggested Sakar initially was because of how hard Web Shooter hits. This final one here hits
Yeah.
very, very, very. And then this guy also hits fairly hard on a low cooldown. So people were saying that that was the good combo until they really kind of deep dived into uh, the whole dodge mastery and found out that everything was kind of better. Um, but yeah, so in my PvP setup, essentially what I use these two guys for is to apply the debuff that we have
Yeah.
of the minus 15% accuracy. Because that's amazing. I think it's honestly kind of overpowered with how easy it is to apply. But I primarily use those two to apply that debuff, and then I use these three right here for damage purposes: the Spider Swing, the Spider Sense Combat, and the Bola one. And this one, there's a lot of variety too. I see some people using Bola 3. I see some people using Bola 4. Um, it depends. There's a fair amount of diversity that you can go with in Spider-Man builds. A lot of people also like to sub this one into
Yeah,
because it's
that's the favorite one I
local.
use for AOE attacking. Like when I'm just putting on idle, going through dark
Mhm.
domain or something, I usually throw on spider grenades, even though I'm Xandar.
Yeah, but I mean, for PvE, it depends on what you're kind of aiming to go with. This was just something I was kind of messing around with. Obviously, I'm not gonna. This is awful, so
Yeah.
don't even think about this here. In Dimensional Duel, especially, and it's just one hit. So if it misses, you've lost everything. Whereas with this one here, you're hitting and then shooting the webs at the same time too. Which a lot of times those will connect, whereas the first hit won't. Um,
Okay.
but for PvE, it might be something because yeah, it's a bigger initial hit, but less damage over time, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I've noticed. I think I've definitely noticed some variety to his skills, especially where you can probably run those that has high guard break, but like the skill cooldown times are absolutely disgusting mixing with each other. But you can also have a low skill cooldown, but that's more of a webbing thing and low cooldown to it. So I think what I would probably say about this is if you guys are probably thinking about maybe killing mobs, then I think it's fine to have, the low cooldowns and the webbings and things of that, especially in PvP, because as he said, which one? Oh, can you go to one of the skills that shows the accuracy rate again? Yeah,
The accuracy
yeah,
rate.
yeah. The accuracy rate by 15%. Like that's huge. I don't know if you guys like even just dropping somebody below 5% accuracy rate on the Spider Man makes a big difference. So 15, that's kind of crazy. And also another question I do have is on your Spider Man, do you run specialty cards or do you kind of just have that Aries set that gives you the dodge percentage? Like what kind of cards do you run on your Spider Man?
So due to I won't lie, obviously I've spent some money.
Yeah.
Due to that, I do tend to run the special cards because it's hard to beat this combination of getting two bonus stats over one.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of something that you can't really challenge per se, but there are some normal cards that I think even then are have a spot like this one, for example, the crit rate one. I think pretty much everybody should run this one with the 11.5% crit, unless you get very, very lucky on your rolls for your helmet and your chest. You're probably going to need to make up some crit rates somewhere because Spider-Man doesn't really get much of it um, from other sources. And then this accuracy rate again, my chest currently did not roll that great, so I kind of have to run it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think this is something that everybody should run if they're finding that they're lacking on accuracy. And in most scenarios, unless you have a fully nanoed out chest, that's a 2 or 3 accuracy rate roll, you're going to find yourself wanting accuracy. Because in PvP specifically, even if you're not fighting a Spider-Man, 75% accuracy is amazing to have because that means there's no chance they're ever going to dodge your damage out. Which I can tell you personally, I've lost plenty of matches with a 15% chance to get dodged, and it got dodged.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we all know how that feels. Do you have any
yeah,
card sets that maybe free to play players can probably grind to? Like as I alluded to,
no,
I think
definitely,
think
definitely.
that's a card set that gives like 11% dodge rate when you have both of the cards up somewhere. I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
remember what
so
set it is.
if I had to, if I went back to what I was doing initially before I started spending a little bit more money, what I was running was the Loki card here
Mm-hmm.
for the crit damage bonus and for the crit damage. I was using a 2 set of that. I ran with the Thor card here to
Okay.
get that, and then the dodge one, the Sakaar 2. What I would suggest for these, there's 3 viable options for them. You can run the Ares one, you can run the Hail Hydra one, and you can run the other Ares one here.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a choice, what I would recommend is the Defense Pierce primary one, and then one
Yeah.
of the attack percentage ones, because Defense Pierce in PvP is literally the best stat. There's nothing that comes close to it in terms of damage output. So
Okay. So we know you said the Artem Zola crit rate is something that you're going to need. Now we
mhm.
got the 2 sets of card for the dodge rate. That would be the Ares or the Hell Hydra, and the defensive Pierce Hell Ares card. Yeah, both of them was Ares, the
Yes,
defensive Pierce, and then
yeah.
we got the Loki and the Thor card. That leaves us with 5. How many cards do we have? 6 cards or is it 5 cards? Is it 5 cards? I thought it was 6.
think it's 6. Yeah,
Yeah, 6.
yeah,
So
we got 6. So,
what was the
so
last card that you just threw in there?
well, so that would complete the combo for what I would suggest. It would be the crit rate card here,
Yeah.
the accuracy rate, and then
Oh,
2 of the
okay.
crit damage, and then 2 of the dodge. I think
Okay.
that would be probably, and you can farm every single one of these off of what's it called, off of the spawns from the bosses. They're all primary
Yeah.
drops off of them. So,
Yeah.
and I can tell you firsthand, the drop rates sometimes they're really really great. Like I think at about 10 kills, I got 3 of these with him, and then other ones I've heard people farming Loki for literally weeks and never seen that crit damage card. So,
Oh yeah, that's
yeah, no,
me. Yeah, that's me. I've had to open up those little daily boxes that they give us every time we those little gray daily boxes. Opened up
mhm.
like 40 of them. Got like 5 Loki cards. I've been fighting Loki for I don't know how long, and I still have not got one in the spawn from him directly. So that's the struggle
Yeah,
I'm
that sounds
feeling.
Yeah, it's a struggle, definitely. I mean, there's if that's the one thing I really would complain about, and I completely agree with y'all on, is the resources ever since they took away alt deletion is just abysmal for
Oh
free to play
yeah,
people.
that's right. And
Um,
here we
alt
go.
deletion was amazing. It was a great free to play resource, and it all just went down the drain after that. So
Yeah, I've heard. I wasn't. I hopped into the Omega flight, but I hopped in
mhm.
after the deletion happened, so I didn't really get to experience that. The last
Yeah, I mean,
question
quick,
that I,
quick
yeah,
side to that. Pretty much, you had access to every time. I mean, you've seen it. Whenever you level up and all, you've got the 5 Omega cards, 5 purple Omega cards that you get access to. You get 2 5-star cores. You got regional pieces. You got sin particles, and you could just keep cycling that all
man,
that good stuff. And you got potential. You got what was the other thing? Squad rank stuff. You got a smorgasbord of stuff that you could just
yeah,
sit there and rotate constantly. But now we're in
yeah.
the state we're in now.
Yeah, man,
So
I was there when blitz drops used to be ridiculous because I've seen some other Omega flight players, and I just see their
mm,
squad little inventory, and I see so many level 30, 40, 6-star badges, and it's like dang, I remember when that used to drop so much frequently on Mega Flight until that nerf happened. Now I cycle back through my things, and I just see like one 6-star level 30 badge or something like that. So
yeah, man,
yeah, yeah,
it's really what the game could have been, but now unfortunately we got what we. If I had anything to say to the devs at any point, it would just be to just revert
yeah,
that change, and I think that would seriously make so many more people much
yeah,
much happier. But
definitely.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So my last question is if you could change anything about Spider-Man, and even if you feel like Spider-Man is perfect right now, that's fine. You can say that as well. But if there's
No.
anything you think that could change about Spider-Man that you probably feel like can make him better, what would you think that would be?
So on the spectrum of better, I actually think he's too strong at the moment.
Oh,
So I don't really have anything that I would say other than maybe just keep improving the tracking on spider sense combat here. This first hit still almost never hits in PvP. So that part sucks. But aside from
yeah.
that, they fixed all of our bugs, and then they also added tracking to this, which just made Spider Swing absurdly powerful. So if anything, I would say he needs a nerf in a lot of respects.
Hey,
And
we
what?
don't talk about nurse. Hold on, what you trying to get people to dislike the video? We don't talk about nurse. All right, hey, hold on.
No, no, that yeah, no. I mean, my man is in a very good place. He is in a very good spot. He's got a wide variety of skills he can use. There's a bunch of different combos that work for him. I think overall, as far as like a character, this is kind of the level that they should aspire to.
Yeah.
um, Being able to make other characters towards maybe back off a little tiny bit, but I think as far as design, he's pretty much the all-encompassing character of what you would kind of want to eventually have all characters be at
Okay.
play.
Awesome, awesome. Now, do you have any Spider-Man free-to-play tips for people? That's a real good question because I know in the beginning you said you originally told free-to-play players, "Hey, don't worry about regional right now. but now you're trying to now you kind of have different thoughts on it. So is there any else other different thoughts you have about Spider-Man for free to play players?
So other than the Omega cards we already went over to focus on free to play, yeah, just don't waste your resources on other Omega cards. I would say just focus primarily on those. Um, as for gear, yeah, I really do think Xander's is kind of the way to go and I hope they keep introducing more selectors to the
Yeah.
game. They started off good with Invasion, and it seems like they might be wanting to put more in there, and I hope they do. Um, so I would prioritize towards regionals, but what I would do is what I've seen. Actually, this isn't even my own idea, but I saw it in the Discord the general Discord chat to build up your non-regionals first,
Mm-hmm.
and then start amassing your regional set on the side. The reason for that is you don't want to nano any of your non-regionals, but when you've got your regionals leveled up on the side, you can then use those non-regionals to re-roll your regionals if they don't have great rolls.
Yeah.
So you would have four pieces waiting there to essentially start re-rolling your stuff because I can tell you, even though it's regional, it still feels really, really bad to switch away from, say you got boots that, look like these with three
Oh.
cooldown decrease, stand recovery, and stuff like that. Like those, those are pretty much the ideal rolls for Spider-Man. And if you've got, Xander's shoes sitting there that are not that, and they're like HP recovery and stuff, that's something you
Yeah.
really don't want to switch over to. So I would suggest building up the regional set, getting yourself some strength, or sorry, the non-regional set, and getting yourself some strength there so you can actually do stuff on your own and start amassing some things on your own. And working on the regional on the side where you can, where you get the pieces. And then when you finally can shift over, go ahead and shift over and start using your non-regionals to re-roll your regionals to hopefully get better. If you didn't get lucky. If you did get lucky and landed some awesome stuff, then great.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, then definitely use those to re-roll until you've got some stuff you're satisfied with.
Okay,
Um,
awesome. So,
yeah.
as you guys can see, this was a breakdown of Spider-Man. I would have him kind of go through what free to play gear to put on him, but I'm pretty sure that's wide known that most of the everyone is going to tell you to do Noir. In all honesty, especially for
Yeah.
PVE at the moment. So I don't think that's really. I don't think we should really answer that question because we all know what it is. So, this has been the Spotty breakdown for you guys. I hope you did enjoy the information that was given out. And as you guys, see, he had some information at first that, he kind of thought different of this time around. So it was pretty nice to get him on here to, just change up a little bit of what he thought from the first time he got interviewed. Is there anything else you want to promote or say?
Yeah, man. Actually, just real quick, something that I think every Spider-Man player should know is just really quick about animation canceling. A lot of your abilities you can cancel out of with a dodge and still get your abilities to actually fire off. Like this one, for example, if you hit that button as soon as you see it starts going cooldown, you can dodge, and all of those shots will still hit your opponent. And
Okay.
you can dodge at the same time. So you basically can instantly fire it and dodge. And one thing that makes a really good Spider-Man from a not so great Spider-Man is perfecting the animation canceling and using your dodge gauge correctly with it. Because most of these abilities you can get a lot of your damage off and still cancel out of them. Same thing with the gyroscope here. Same thing. As soon as you see the ball start to come out, you animation cancel, and you still get all the damage.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, look at that. I learned something because I thought once you just threw those out, it was kind of it. Because I'm a storm main, so there are some attacks that I can just throw out, and then as soon as I cancel them, the snow still drops, and I can mix it with something else. But that's nice to know that Spider-Man has animation cancels. My goodness, this guy really is
like I said,
overpowered. Goodness.
he's the complete package, man.
Oh my
I don't know.
god.
Yeah,
Woo.
but aside from that, yeah, I mean, I feel like we covered pretty much everything.
That's everything. All right, everybody. If you have any more questions down below, just go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll reach back out to him to just probably have him answer it inside of our Discord chat, and then I just reply with his response to it. But thank you for coming out today and taking some time out for this. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem at all, man. You have a good
All
one.
right, you too.
Thanks.